And serendipity, I don't know what it is. It's like a extraneous solution in math. If you're using have Wavos in order enough to have a difference of location to their natural habitat. And whenever in yesterday's episode, I touched upon what inanimate objects are, and I kind of gave a arrow towards where the human species is going if they keep adding in GMO and adjuvant. And that's hard. That's like the most horrific thing I can say because it crosses over all racism. Because I was essentially saying the human species, well, we've got like 5 different races, maybe 7. Well, we've got like 400 countries, probably just 300. But, in this statistic where there's definite amounts of things, and you start saying something where the human race is bound to inanimate objects, that's the most racist thing I can ever think of saying because it's throwing everyone under the bus. And so, in finding out ways in doing things, there's like a trash can. Here's a porta potty, you know, with a few vessels. I heard that the Black Plague got sent from rats being taken from Europe on these ships, and we got over these bad rats into the United States from these ships. And this, surely enough, is what made the Black Plague have Wavos in order enough to have a difference of location to their natural habitat. And whenever you're doing this with the species, whether it be ones that are not fully fleshed out, like a rat, humans are like ferrets, because ferrets are hard to kill. A ferret is synonymous to a mongoose, where mongoose takes out poisonous snakes because it can withstand the poison after they're given a bite. So this being the case is like glass in the road. Things that are hard to kill, if you step on glass, it's going to go through your foot. But if you're good with your feet at being able to recover if it's a laceration or any part of your body, it's synonymous to the autonomy of a mongoose, which is like a ferret, aka hard to kill. But when it comes to things that are set forth like an anchor into you and you can't get it out through like sweating under blankets, drinking a whole bunch of water, that's a thing notable that'll raise eyebrows, because the vector to get out one of these things would be to turn your body into an inanimate object by partaking in what is known as experimental technology. That raises eyebrows. And I'm only saying this because after 2020, this technology was made public, and the rest is history to date. One thing interesting with absorption rates is if you can work inside of an environment and it's humid and you don't need water because it's so humid, that's almost as if you're withstanding a laceration and recovering it from very quickly, like in the movie Demon Slayer, where demons recover from slices very quickly, but humans can't. The difference of a human to a demon. I think you have to watch the entire movie. That Demon Slayer, I think, had one movie, but more importantly, each episode of every series to understand the difference between a demon and a human. For that fact alone, where lacerations, demons can recover a lot faster. To denote that depiction is one in itself. Probably what would pertain to the arrow that I was drawing between the universe, where it's bound to all the stars are going out. So the human species needing light with vitamin D from the sun, and to have XYZ. There's places out there where there's stars without any other stars near them. So if you're living like around one of those stars, there's no moons. So at nighttime it would be pitch black because they're in a giant void. Aside from our galaxy, it's our galaxy, all of our stars all around. At nighttime we see those stars bouncing off the moonlight, that's an interesting attribute, which gives rise to, at nighttime, your eyes can adjust and see somewhat attenuations of light, as opposed to in daytime. It would look no different being on a different planet. And we can get into size differentiations with horizons. That's very interesting and probably applicable to what anchors are in you. The difference of our bodies to ferrets with what a mongoose can acquire to abstain. Taking out poisonous snakes is something notable to try to deter. But the human species would be if they continue on the path to turn into inanimate objects, and we can't be in two places at once. That's not something what the wave function would prescribe, even though it's written into it. Head and toe to not go head over heels on that. To put over someone, and it is someone of bottom of the totem pole from you being a head honcho. Who are you in the amount of time where time has lapsed for your duration? And I'm saying this not to one person, but for all humanity, is that in their chances of the universe not collapsing on them with all the stars burning out is a suicide mission. And if we're looking at this seriously, I'm talking about not billions of years, but trillions. And we're on the scale of what time actually is. You get a better depiction of serendipity, because the race of humanity is on a suicide mission. I heard a homeless guy from New York saying that if he's putting his life into something, that's a lot of power, where you're willing to go through an entire winter with the utmost odds against you. And so if you have that diagonal and you're putting it towards something that you're trying to achieve, that's a lot of power, because I'm not trying to get biblical, but you're never born to have something harder than you're sought out to deal with. So when you're doing something more sought out than your life to deal with, it's what in Rastafarian, it's so funny, I can talk about Rastafarianism and not stuff that is politicized biblically, even though Rastafarians are a page and a half out of the Bible because they know it. But the Rastafarians are gonna subject themselves to a whole bunch of favors putting towards them when they're on doing the mission. And I don't like to talk about missionaries, but when they're doing missions, it's subjectively, they're gonna have a lot going towards them in favor if they're putting their whole life on the line to waver. But with that in mind, is nothing short of the case of the expectancy rates. And we can get into what a wave function is. But if the entire universe is put into one wave function, you know every solution if you knew the position of every atoms. And for that to be a suicide mission, to quantify that, to give the logistics of these two terms, we're going to have to look closer into what an eye for an eye is when it comes to what is synthetic, non-organic, and just regular. To add theatrics, what does that even mean? And in now day and age, it's where what will not get you comprehended into a subject of too complex. And that's just the prefix to the depiction. Looking at my hair, you couldn't in the dim light, but now it is something. Unless your hair's long, my hair's not long, but I should put a comb to it. One thing that my principal said before he was replaced, Principals in schools get replaced like once every 4 years, let's be honest, on average. We got a schematic all around the United States, which it's the 4th July, and Christian Blodgett, I don't want to tag her in a handle, but I'm guessing I'm going to on Facebook because that's the platform where I know her from, more importantly from school. She brought in a paper of September 11th because we're making a time capsule, and that's the most politicized thing I've ever seen anyone do. Because schools are institutions, and we were supposed to bring in something, and that's what she did, and they took it. Was the funnier part. So, putting two and two together, what's politicized? If you can have a schematic, what measures out school boards, because in the United States, the school boards are hardly renowned to taxing, and then what kids are to something what is a tyrant on steroids is equivalent to Jeffrey Epstein. And I know we might get flagged for that, but that's why principals don't want you talking bad or them looking bad in security of their job, because they're tied to a school board, and all the community within the school is within a school board. That depiction of a school zone. If you never attended a school board meeting, you can say whatever the F you want, and I plan on doing it because that is dirt swept under the rug that you can address head on. But for addressing my head on, it's where I haven't used conditioner for nefarious reasons, and this is cowlicks, folks. If we don't know what I'm talking about, just we can look at what it is. And the teacher in my high school said all you need was on the bathroom with him. I was in the bathroom with two adult men. One was just like singing songs and humming while I'm pissing next to him. The other at the sink, the principal, this man said, all you need is a little bit of water. It's true. You can apply a little bit of water and it'll brush down these cowlicks without a comb, because I don't believe in them if you have short hair. It is what it is.